The Daily Purge. How you doing today, everybody? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let me ask you something. How big do you want to go? I mean, really, seriously, no BS. How big do you want to go? You know, a lot of people talk about that all the time. Well, hey, man, yeah, man, I'm going big. I'm going real big. Okay, well, how big is that? Do you even know? Do you really even know? Do you really even, have you ever sat down and thought it out and wrote it out and said, this is how big I want to go? Seriously. I mean, these are the questions that I ask myself, and I'm always pushing myself to get to the highest level that I can get to. And that's typically a level that I don't know yet, right? I mean, how do you know how far you can go until you go there? How do you know how far you can go until you push? Have you reached out to people that you just have never reached out to before? People who let me do this real quick. Hit the community post. All right, one more time. And how many people have you actually reached out to and said, man, this is something that, hey, Daniel, how you doing, brother? Morgan. So how big do you want to go? Do you want to reach out to, if you're a consultant, why aren't you calling the biggest companies in the world to be the consultant? Maybe because you think you're not qualified. Why do you think you're not qualified? Who told you that? Who told you you're not qualified? Who told you that you can't do it? Who told you that, oh man, you're not big enough, you gotta have this, you gotta have that? Who says that? You think people like Elon Musk, who started planning to be on Mars back in 1984 or whatever it was, you think he said he wasn't big enough? No, he just drove. He walked every day, took that imperfect action every single day. So the question is, where do you want to go? Do you even know where you want to go? That's step number one. Where do you want to go? And if you're telling me right now, you just want to have enough money to get along, you just want to have enough money to, make it happen or live a comfortable life, that's not a goal. It's not. You got to numerize it. You got to have a number. You got to have a measurable accountability that you can say, I'm close. I need this much more revenue a day. I need this much more revenue a month. I need this much more revenue a year to get to where you want to go, right? Or you want to expand your network. How do you expand your network? Go on Facebook, keep doing the same thing, posting a question every single day, hoping people are going to sign up. I mean, you see people, they have groups and they've been at 200 people for the last 2 years and they don't grow. Why? Because they're doing the same thing over and over and over, right? You got to get out. You got to drive harder. You got to join new networks. You got to try new platforms. You got to get into groups. You got to contribute. You got to give freely. You got to give with no expectations. Chris, the biggest spoon. All right, brother. What's up? What's up, Olga? How you doing? Good to see you. And this is the thing that I'm always wondering about. You see people that they're giving quality content, but they're not growing. They're not expanding. People talk about deal flow in the M&A space all the time. I have no deal flow. I have no deal flow. I have no deal flow. What are you doing? I'm writing letters. How long have you been writing letters? Been writing letters for a year. Well, obviously it's not working, so quit writing the letters, right? Try flyers. Try going into groups. Try giving free advice. Do what I do. I have a free coaching group every Wednesday for M&A specialists from a certain demographic. And, every Wednesday since January 2019, I do it for free. Why? Because I have a massive deal flow, right? Where do I get all the contacts that I have? I talk to minimum 3 new people every single day, 4 days a week. I speak to at least 3 new people. And how does that happen? I'm not out looking for them. They're coming to me. Why? Because the 3 people that I talk to, I help them so much. They give me referrals to other people. Hey, you need to talk to Steve. You need to talk to Steve. You need to talk to Steve. And I'm not anybody special. I don't have any special talent or anything. I'm just a master problem solver. I can find a problem that you have and I can find a solution for it. It may be me or it may be someone else, right? So how far do you want to go? How big do you want to go? How big do you want to go, Chris, with your big spoon? How big do you want to go, Olga, with your business? Daniel, how big do you want to go? Think about that for a minute. And then how are you going to get there? Go all the way out to where you want to go. Go all the way out. You want to go out to franchises? Chris, you want to franchise it? Get with Joel, sit down. How does a franchise work? How am I going to get that big? How many people do I need? What kind of infrastructure do I need? What kind of handbooks do I need? How do I expand it? Do I need networks? What do I need? And then you just go out there and you say, I have a master franchise. I need someone who's a pioneer that's going to help me to grow this company like nobody's business. Who wants in? And then suddenly, next thing you know, you got someone that's setting up in Oregon. You got some setting in Pennsylvania, Maine, Florida, Kansas, whatever, right? And next thing you know, you have it all over the nation. Why? Because you went there. You went that far in your brain. You went that far in your planning. You went that far in your goals, and you reverse engineer it to back to where you are right now today, so you know exactly what steps you need to take. And once you set that vision, and once you have that, you set that vision, and you have that visualization of what it looks like, then you can let it go and just drive forward, taking that imperfect action, making it happen every single day. I can't even tell you who I was just on the phone with, but I can tell you this. It was with a country. a whole country, a leader of a country, about a project. How? I reached out. I made it happen. I pushed. I tried. I talked to this person. I talked to that person. I used my network. I asked around, and boom, there it is. Looking for business right now, in different areas as well. Looking for investors in different areas. Setting up the Okay, 1 second. Sorry, my wife just sent me a message. Oops. And I'm always digging. So every single day you get up, and if you don't do anything new that day, guess what's going to happen? It's going to stay the same. You're going to stay where you are, doing what you're doing, in the same position you are in. You're not going to grow. You might make more revenue. You might drive more business. But let me ask you this. Let's say you're making $1 million a year. That's pretty good, right? It's pretty good for a small business, an entrepreneur, whatever. You're doing pretty good. But imagine you could just add a zero to that, 10 million a year, and you'd be doing the same amount of work. Would you do it? You're damn right you would do it. Why wouldn't you do it? And some of you might be saying, oh, I don't need that much money. I don't need to be rich. It's not about being rich. It's about getting to your potential. It's about getting to your potential. And what is your potential? Is it what you think it is? I promise you it's not. I promise you don't know your potential. I promise you don't know your potential. You won't know your potential until you push yourself so far and you find things that you can do that are so. Just think back 10 years. Do you ever think that you'd be where you are right now? Did you ever think that you'd be doing what you're doing right now 10 years ago? I bet you didn't, right? And that's because you kept moving forward, taking imperfect action. Don't get comfortable. You want to stay young. You want to stay powerful. I'm 54 years old. I can whoop most anybody in a day's work. Why? Because I have visions and goals that go all the way up till I'm 105 years old. I know where I'm going, right? How I'm going to get there, it doesn't even matter. How did we have Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment? How did I get on the World Earth Day broadcast with 100 million people? How did I get on that? I don't freaking know, but it happened, right? Why? Because that was part of the vision. How do I get expansion out there, right? How do I talk to world leaders? How do I talk to politicians? How can I get these consulting gigs? And I got called today from the UK to have a 1 hour consulting gig for almost 5 figures, right? They called me. Why? Because they knew who I am through what I'm doing, and they know who I am through the people that know who I am. You see what I'm saying? So it's not luck. It has nothing to do with luck, and honestly has nothing to do with talent either. 107 years, Sean. All right, brother. You're going to beat me by 2 years. What's up with that? Hey, Jared, how you doing? Right? It honestly has nothing to do with my talent, has nothing to do with my special abilities. It literally has to do with me knowing that there's nothing that can stop me except for me, and knowing that where I want to go, I'm going to freaking go. Thanks, Margot. Yeah, you like that, huh? I had the lead in too. I'm talking to you guy on Friday, by the way. Indeed, synchronicity. You like that, man? Margot was showing me how to do all the stuff with StreamYard. Stand by, because on Friday I'm going to have new stuff too. So anyway, getting to where you want to go, Lee, is up to you. If you're making anyone else responsible for, oh, my dumb customers, or they're not buying, or this, sorry, get new customers, go somewhere else, raise your prices, lower your prices, whatever you want to do. There's only 2 places, high and low, nothing in between. During the the economic crash in 2008, what was the one things that made the most money? That was the luxury brands. Why? Because they still had money and they wanted to blow it, right? So same thing. There's more money out there right now than almost ever before that's waiting to be invested in projects. Are you out there asking for people for money to invest in your projects? And I don't mean Uncle Joe. I'm talking like institutional lenders. I'm talking like private equity firms. Right? Are you out there asking if you have no, you don't know anybody? Well, get to know somebody. Go into LinkedIn and Google, and search private equity firms, presidents, owners, partners, senior partners, right? Founders, principals, and just write them. Look, I have this project. Would you like to look at it? 99% will say no, but there's 1% that's going to say yes. Where I want to go, I'm going freaking going. Exactly. Persistence is the key. Exactly. I remember when I wrote my first book, right? I had no idea. I wrote 10 pages of a synopsis. I never wrote a book before, didn't know how to do it. And I simply sent it to 10 publishers, and 1 answered, and that 1 published me, and I was a bestseller, right? They said, why would anyone want to read your book? And I said, well, come meet me and find out. And they're like, oh, geez, it happened to be down the road about 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away from where I lived. So they took the time and came and met me, and they're like, holy shit, yeah, you're right. People need to read this book. And they published it. 2 weeks after they published it, it was a bestseller. That would have never have happened if I'd have sent it to 1 publisher, or if I'd have seen, I want one out. Now, on the other hand, if you're super goal oriented, Like when I went to get my MBA, I applied to one business school because that was the only business school I wanted to get into. And that business school was University of Bradford in the UK, business school. It's the second oldest business school in the world, one of 57 out of 10,000 business schools that are triple accredited. That's why I wanted to get in that school, because it was in the UK as well. I didn't want an American school. If you want to work in Europe or in the Middle East or the Far East, you want a British MBA and not an American MBA. American MBAs, sometimes not really as well touted as they think they are. I'm going to Pierre wants to tell my story. There you go, Jared. Good for you. All right. So meet people, expand your network every single day. And if you don't know, I mean, honestly, if you don't know who to talk to, you never know who to talk to, call a friend. Call somebody you know and say, hey, man, do you have anybody I should meet? Do you have anybody that would benefit from my services? Do you have anybody that would benefit from me just giving free value? I'd like to meet somebody in this space. Do you know any documentary filmers? All these kind of questions. Can you hook me up? Can you introduce me to somebody? Or you're in a conversation, you hear somebody saying like, hey, I met this guy the other day who did, oh man, could I meet this person? I'd love to hear his story. Why? Because I want to hear his story. That's all. You don't have to have that outcome in mind. The outcome in mind is going to screw up the conversation. The outcome in mind is what puts you on a past level of where they are. You need to meet them where they are, right? Meet the people in front of you where they are. I hear having clarity and define a purpose. Exactly, Sean. That's what you're hearing. You can hear whatever you want to hear. You can dictate it however you want. You can define it however you want. The fact is this: if you ain't moving, you ain't moving. Simple as that. Talk to everyone. Ask questions to get to know them organically. You never know if they're the next person we collaborate with. Margot, exactly. And I always said that when I was in the corporate world. I said, look, treat everybody at the highest level of integrity that you can treat. It could be your next husband, wife, maybe not your next, but it could be a husband or your wife. It could be your next boss, your next business partner, entrepreneur, friend, whatever. Never assume that you know who that person is in front of you, and never assume that you cannot solve their problem, because I promise you, you can either solve their problem yourself or know somebody who can solve the problem for you. And why wouldn't you do that if all it is an introduction? I make introductions every single day, because the people that I meet, yesterday I had a call. Who was it with? Oh yeah, I know, Rachel. So I'm talking to Rachel and she's like, oh yeah, I need this. I'm like, oh, you need to talk to so-and-so. And while we're talking, I sent the email. Hey, Julie, meet so-and-so. And then we're talking 5 minutes later. She goes, oh, that'd be great. I'd love to meet this person about LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, 1 second, and I'm talking to her. And then at the end of the call, she goes, okay, if you introduce me to those people, I'd be happy. I said, I already did. I already sent the email. She's like, what? Wow. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Instant action, imperfect action. I don't have to write it down, put it in my calendar, put it on a checklist so I can do it tomorrow. So I have a nice little checklist on my desk and say, look what I did. I'm amazing. I don't need that. My input and my action is imperfect, and it's constant. It's moving all the time. No delays. I say I'm going to do something. I do it right now, right? If you take on this attitude and you take on this immediate action, and you have that immediate action that's imperfect, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your business. It's going to change everything about what you do. Because whether you're going to the grocery store and you're going to help somebody in front of you to make the line go faster, right? Because you're going to help them in front of, instead of bitching about, oh, this person, oh my God, it's always the same kind. Can I help you? Here's 10 cents. Let's make it happen. Poof, let's go. Have a great day. Thanks. I'm next. Boom, done. Next. You know what I'm saying? How can you affect the speed to market, the speed of you to your contacts, and the speed of your life to get done what needs to get done so you could progress further and further to a point where you never thought you would be? I never in a million years thought I'd be talking to world leaders. I never in a million years thought that I'd be starting an investment fund. I never in a million years thought I'd be doing the thing with the Humble Alpha. I never in a million years thought that Humble Alpha would take on a world of its own and starting a coaching and training program for licensing and franchising. Like, it just never dawned on me. But guess what? It was never not a possibility. You see what I'm saying? I never limited that. Never limit yourself. I don't care what anybody says to you. I don't care what anybody thinks about you. I don't care what anybody says that you can and cannot do, or you must have to do this. F that. F that. If you want to do something, you do it. It's simple. It's simple as that. If you want to do something, you do it. There's a rule of thumb out there for everyone who says you can't do it this way. Someone has already done it that way. So it's all BS. It's their limiting mindset. It's their scarcity mindset. It's them scared to lose you as a friend. It's them scared to see you succeed and them not, and them feeling stupid about themselves. It's sometimes even you being scared to fail or scared to succeed or scared to succeed, right? Get over it. Get over it. The only thing that you have to fear is not getting to where you can actually get to. And I promise you, think as far ahead as you can. Think as big as you can think. And then add 20% and you still have room, right? You still have room. Right? Can't sounds like a challenge. There you go. Thanks, Margot. Right? I get excited about this, man, because I just got off the phone with, man, it's just incredible. Incredible. Changing the world for real, like changing the world from my desk here in a small village in Hungary. And I just look out there and go, I'm a knucklehead who grew up in a mobile home with a few fathers. Right? A few different fathers, moving around all the time. Joined the army as a knucklehead, barely graduated high school. And here I sit 30 years later almost, and I'm talking to world leaders, and I'm moving worlds, and I'm changing the world, and I have an investment fund, and I have a partner that I love, and a wife that I love, and kids. That's all stuff you think, well, yeah, that's normal for someone who gets older and stuff. Well, join me for a day. If you ever want to come when COVID's over, join me for a day. And I promise you, I'm going to blow your socks off with the people that I talk to and the solutions that I give and who they are. It's going to blow your freaking mind. And guess what? I'm not special. And that's the most amazing thing. You don't have to be freaking special. You don't have to be special, uber talented, super smart, have 1 million degrees. F all that. It's right here in your solar plexus, your nuclear reactor. Your intentions are the most powerful thing on this planet. It's the most powerful thing in the universe. You dictate your own reality. You dictate it, nobody else. And until you believe that and totally have 100% certainty about that, you're not going to get to where you deserve to be. And you deserve it, right? This up here will screw you over every time. Let go of all those limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, scarcity mindset, competition. I got to crush my competition and stuff. Leaders don't compete, right? They don't compete, they create. All right, so get out there and create. Action dictates culture. You want to have a culture of productivity, be productive, take imperfect action, set those intentions, and go for gold. That's all I got to say. All right, everybody, have a fantastic one. And remember, it's all about quality of life. And yes, Margot, infinite potential. All right, Sean, go get some. Love you guys.